Hi, blessings, everyone. It's Monday, the 11th of February, 2019, and it's almost 5 p.m. here in Edinburgh. So the light is it's just starting to go down, and we're just moving into early evening. More light around, and a feeling of springtime over the past few days, which is beautiful. So I feel we're having an early spring. What's happening on the planet and what's happening with our energies. So I'm just tuning in here. Well, everything in terms of the illusion is deepening inside us. So that part of us that is very much living through the elusive nature of ourselves, this essence of soul and the divinity inside us. It's merging together, and there's a purifying process happening. So we're really having to take care of the body, and just being aware that there's lots of density clearing out. So it's a really great time to be detoxing and just being very aware, I guess, of our bodies and what our digestive systems are feeding us in terms of information about our needs. The shift in consciousness and the connection that we have with Mother Earth is very organic, and we're really opening our hearts into the new earth and this blessing of the human race and the earth being one. So it's a really interesting process. I'll see if I can describe it better. So if you can imagine that your higher energies are being raised, so the higher self and the higher being inside is really being lifted into the light of the self. So there is a sense of union there, which is very much to do with us being able to live from a place of completeness. Our energy is connected with humanity as a whole, and therefore whatever we're doing in terms of our day-to-day existence is being it's having an effect on the collective. There's a need to know that when we're sharing, it can be a very deep sharing through silence, as everything inside is really being pulled into the stillness of ourselves. And then this deep, deep stillness in Mother Earth and this sense of unity that I speak of is our ability to really fully translate our essence in terms of our earth connection and our connection with the higher soul energy. So it's uniting together through the need to release the density and the illusion inside, and also it's connected with the illusion on the planet. And then the higher self is also coming into alignment with the lower, what would have been called the lower self, and this dense physical union with the earth. This feeling of being material, to be an embodiment. There's the sense of matter and body as heavy. With this process that we're in now, everything in terms of the alignment, once it integrates and we've released the illusion, then we're going to feel much lighter in the body. The light body and the crystalline body, as they become freed and expand into the light of the source energy, it's very much a space of illumination for ourselves and also for the planet. So you may feel that you're not doing anything at the moment, or you don't have any sense of anything very much happening apart from feeling the change and the need to be still, to be quiet, to rest, to have time to just very gently find ourselves inside. The sensitivity that we have and the programming of ourselves as we move into the higher dimensions is asking to witness our lives and not to be afraid of the boundaries shifting. Throughout the past generations, we have had a very strong boundary around us, which was for some of us and for the previous generations, it was a boundary that was very painful, because it was really blocking and stopping the gifts and the freedom of the individual from being expressed. Also, there was punishment for moving through these boundaries. And these are all part of a history, and it's a global history. It's there all over the world in terms of how we've been restricted and limited through our light. The gifted individual is an individual who sees through the boundaries and sees through the illusion, and is able to really move into a space where they can express and use their gifts in whatever way it comes, the natural gifts, as a way of being able to free themselves, which is really what it's all about. We've all got gifts inside us, everyone. But for those of us that have really not been able to find that we could express our gifts and our creativity, which is part of the creative and the gifted person are one, then there's been a lot of fear attached to expressing these energies and these powerful unions with ourselves, and to be free to do so. The lighter the energy, the freer we are. And so this time is really a time of unblocking and unlocking our gifts to be fully united with our soul and our journey of life. Now, this means, as a human race, and looking at the big picture and the new children coming in, that there is a future for the future generations, which will allow the gifted child to express themselves and to be free to do so in a way that is natural and where the flow of life is a journey of ease and grace. So it's very much a time of us fully embracing our light and every aspect of ourselves which is able to see through the illusion. Now, you might be saying, well, what is the illusion? If coming from the inner space and from our gifts. Now, the way that I would describe it is that the illusion is that part of who we are that has inherited the limitations and the restrictions throughout history. The previous generations and their history is being unlocked, and therefore there's more light in terms of family history, previous generations of both mystery and darkness. Now, when I talk about darkness, I'm talking about the lives that were spent really not being able to see ahead, and where there was a battle going on, and in the form of the self, and also in the form of the timing of their lives. So they would have been limited, and also life would have been it would have been very difficult. Now, I'm looking at it from the outside, and so we can't look at it from the inside out. It's only held by the souls that lived at that time. But their lives from the outside looking in terms of the difficulties and the way that they had to strive just to survive, and so much influence on the earth to do with war and famine, which they actually came together during the world wars. And so much fear there in terms of not really feeling that they could be safe and supported. It's a time in history where the gifts of the individual, they were being held, and it may have been difficult to find an expression for this that was free. It doesn't mean that there wasn't any gifts. There was, and there was the ability to express through writing and through music and through the arts. But maybe the individual was not able to be free, to be seen and to be accepted by the globe, and particularly by their culture and by the system that they were living in. So this change that we're experiencing is about freeing up these energies. It means that the past, in terms of the previous generations, are being lightened, and our relationships with our families are changing. There is acceptance of the individual as a sovereign being, that everyone has their sacred energy, and that we are all individuals living and uniting together through the one. But we each have our own vibration, and we have our own energy system. Now, this means that in terms of the energies that we carry, we are able to hold our own in terms of our vibration. And also, there is a way of living that's based on living a holistic and a holy life, being complete and whole. So, in terms of the future, our lives are so much healthier, they're so much freer. We're able to open our hearts and express without fear of being I don't know what word to use here. Without fear of being harmed, I guess, would be a way of putting it. So we can really fully open our hearts and be expressing ourselves with complete acceptance of that by others, where there is no need to protect or step in, as the individual is releasing and expressing themselves through the body and is being given the space to do so. When they do this, then we have a person who has a healthy life. They have a healthy body, and they're also really living through a place that has no fear in terms of being accepted. So it's really beautiful, because everything is it's both simplifying and also becoming more real. So, in terms of anything that we are taking in our lives, our food intake, our energy intake, our ability to take in the atmosphere, it's all lifting as the grid lightens up and the vibration lifts. So in the future, then we have future generations who are not needy. They are very much living and very grounded in their own energy. They know themselves and they trust themselves. They're on a journey of completeness and they're accepted for being who they are. Their gifts are many and they will be able to really express their gifts through the integration of everyday life and through being able to really raise the vibration through anything that they do. In terms of any writings or anything that needs to be expressed, there is a lightness there, and also a knowing that that life is about love, and there is a joy in everything that we do. So we're really stepping in to a really beautiful energy here as we go through these changes within our energy systems, and we're living free of the illusion. We can allow ourselves to fully live in our own vibration without any feeling of being criticized or being not being accepted, in other words. The dynamics in the past within the family, for example, were very much about rivalry with siblings and families who had distorted perceptions due to their experiences of life and obviously their previous generations that they may have inherited. The gifted individual has a freedom because they're universal. And this is a difference. Because if you're a universal soul, you're really plugged in to source. And therefore, the gifted individual within the family who may have had a difficult time in the past can now be accepted and supported, which is the main thing, because we can be accepted, but we really need the support to be able to live a life of freedom and to be able to share and express our gifts. It's really, really special. It makes me very happy to see this because I see the difficulties on both on a personal level and on a collective level. When we are able to fully see someone in their higher self and their wholeness, we can share with them the perception of the fullness of who they are, and also a very deep love for them that is very free and unconditional. It's, it's really special. So as I'm talking about this, I'm just really feeling just a slight charge of emotion in the body. I have been feeling quite quite emotional through the body over the past couple of weeks. Yesterday, there was lots of emotion. I felt my eyes smarting with tears all day. It wasn't a big deal, but it was an awareness that I had that something very deep was going on within my own cellular memory, within the body. So if you're feeling this, it's really good to know that anything in terms of emotions that you may be feeling and have a need to express, then I would say go for it and just really feel the gentleness there of the shift through the heart. Allow the blossoming soul to come through, and really let life live through you, which is amazing. It's a space of deep freedom. There's nothing to do anymore when we're in this space. We can just really know that we're being taken care of, that it's not up to us, that everything in life is based on a pure love, and our nature and our fluidity is coming into balance through acceptance that we don't need to strive anymore, that life will always take care of us. So with that, and this breath, oh my goodness, it's just so amazing. And it's so good to talk about it. It's very powerful. So I'm just sending that message through, and really just blessing all of that energy and all the words that have been shared, and sending a blessing to everyone in terms of the process that they might be experiencing, knowing that all is in divine order and that we are sharing a place through being unlimited and very unconditional, and this beauty inside us. So I'll just finish with a light language prayer. Atamate te 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 te. Hush. Hashimo, Hashimo. This ancient breath that's coming through, just releasing, blessing, and sending everyone lots of love. I'll speak to you soon. Namaste.